We're going to talk about a family project that we have been working on in Python. This is my whole family. We named it 3 Keys and a Boss. So today we're going to talk about the project details, why we named it 3 Keys and a Boss, a few things that we decided in our project as a family. I'll introduce the project team and the roles that we designed for the project team, and maybe some project tips and some little quirks and things that we found out along the way. Okay, the project is 3 Keys and a Boss. Why the name? We had and that's what I thought it would do, but we had a brainstorming session when we decided to do this project. That's just something that came up. We talked about what we wanted it to do. It's similar to, anyone here ever play Angband or Moria or maybe Rogue? Yeah. And we're really into that game. My husband is the real gamer here, and he's got me hooked. And each one of my kids have played it, and they're all 3 hooked as well. Especially my 5-year-old son and my 12-year-old daughter. But for those who don't know what it is, it's a dungeon crawl. It's ASCII characters. It does have some graphics. You can do graphic tiles with it. It's a simple design. It's easy gameplay. Has simple controls: up, down, left, right. You run into a creature to kill it, to hit it. Our project team is me, my husband, who is here today. Krista and Erilyn are my daughters, and little Leo is 5 years old. Krista is 19, Erilyn is almost 13, and Leo is 5. So we had to designate our roles to each of the kids, and we gave them we used their strengths. You'll see us, we're the project managers. We just had more experience in the project. We've done other projects together. With our business, we've done projects together, so we have a little more experience than the kids do. This is our graphic design consultant and story writer. This is my 19-year-old daughter. She's into designing things, mostly illustrations, so a lot of things we have to scan in, or things like that. She designed our storyboard. This is our real rudimentary storyboard. Sure. Well, we had the different colored keys. We have to go to the door and fight the boss, which happens to be a dragon. My kids are really into dragons. We got to choose which character we wanted, male or female. They had 3 different levels that they designed, plus the boss. It's been a while since I looked at this. She even did some of the, did you pick up the key, yes or no? Doing the enemies, how many times, she decided how many times you hit, some of the mechanics of the game, how we designed what, are you dead? Yes or no? Do you start it again? Yes. And that's what we did in our brainstorming session. And we had several other other sessions after that to kind of refine some of this. This is our junior code monkey. She is a gamer, but she really likes it. She's done some games on Game Maker. I don't know if anybody's heard of Game Maker before, but she's done some full-fledged games on Game Maker. Sort of like Mario Brothers, because that's what she liked. This is what he was working on with her to get some, structure to the game. He was having her do the directory structure. And I'm new to the world of coding and Python. So if you had any questions about that, you'd have to discuss it with him. But he wanted to do this, and then he's having her work on this. This is our user tester. If he could find something to break in the code, he probably could. We had another project that we worked on, and we did a tank game, and we had the turret, as a separate part of it. And well, we had issues with it. The turret went that way, the tank went that way, but he enjoyed that. So he finds things like that. He's pretty smart. So we have to watch him. Sometimes if something does go wrong, he knows how to get out, exit, run the thing again, So this is a screenshot of what our first, I think is that level 1? Can't remember what level it was. Okay. So this is what we'd have, and you'd have the character come through. All these are the walls. We have barrels. We have the G. Those are goblins. But this is how Angband pretty much looks. Okay, here's a tip. Get your project managers on the same shift. I've been working graveyard shift for 3 years now, and he works first shift. When I'm doing all this stuff, he's sleeping. But it's been tough to kind of get together. It's already tough as is, just a normal life. He's pretty much taken over some of the things that I would have done. He's mostly the head coder, so. And we had broken down the project into a timeline. We had certain deadlines we had to do, which you're supposed to do in a project. Some of those didn't happen very well, so we don't have our game finished, unfortunately. Oh, he's asking what ruined our timeline. We did have a vacation. And we also had a blackout a couple times. We live out in the middle of nowhere, so trees fall down everywhere. We lose power a lot. All right, any questions or discussions that we could have on project? So your question was, how much do our children understand you said the plumbing, the internal, everything going on with the game? Since my husband has worked more with them, perhaps you can answer that?
More from a high level. I built an API behind. You can review it. I built an API for her to interact with. It's very similar to like GameMaker, so that she wouldn't directly like do the GUI and build a frame. It was more call the map structure. So in order to keep it simple enough for her to understand and not have to understand everything in Python, that was a key thing for involving her. Well, and that's the whole point of building like a structure behind it. And my characters, the GUI, they call those modules instead of calling to Tkinter directly. So whatever your preference for the GUI, but yeah, and that way they can enjoy the benefit of what it does more than know everything that's going on in the background. The game is actually pretty simple, so I'm taking a lot longer to get the API in place in order for it to work. And unfortunately, having my son as the tester, as soon as we told him he was going to be the tester, the next hour, is it done yet so I can test?
And that possibly was the wrong thing to have him test it, but he loves playing games. He is definitely the gamer. Yes, we're still working on it. Oh yeah, and it's fun just brainstorming what we can do with it. We've talked about variations that we could do. We can make it an educational game. In order to kill the goblin, you have to do this multiplication problem. You know, it can be used, you can do anything with it, really. And that's what I love about it. It's simple gameplay, and we can make it educational as well. Plus we get family time. It's hard to get family time anymore, you know, with both of us working. And
well, and that was one of the keys to drawing on their strengths, because a lot of times when you're trying to involve the kids, it has to be something interesting to them. So when I had my oldest say, well, you're going to draw the dragon, or you're going to draw, or you're going to tell me the storyline behind it, what normally would take pulling and prying, I'm like, you have to have it done by this weekend, and she was done with it. It ended up being the stuff that I had to do, tying up more of the time because work and other things get in the way. So yeah, and my son loves anything to do with math, so I'm looking forward to the second phase when I switch it over to doing math to kill things. Though unfortunately with my son, he may enjoy dying more than he enjoys winning. So you have to watch the balance when you include younger kids, that what you want them to get out of it is just as exciting, if not more exciting, than what you don't want them to get into.
yeah, because there are some games that, you know, when you die, they make a funny noise or something, and he loves that. So yeah.
So he purposely doesn't get it. Like,
yeah.
one of the things I'm blessed with him is he's got math, and he's got a website that he goes to, and he actually can do fractions, multiplication, addition, subtraction already. So he's got logic behind him. You can give him a problem like 50 plus r equals 10. He can figure it out.
Really?
Yes.
The website has everything from calculus down to addition, and he watches the videos. So, yep, you have to make sure the motivation is where you want them to go. Otherwise, especially the younger kids will go do what you don't want them.
And in our older two, you know, I didn't just give my youngest daughter just our junior code monkey. She likes to do other things. She's into drawing as well, so I made them work together as well on the illustrations. We had some other little things that, you know, they had drawn the objects that we would have. What each one of those ASCII characters are going to stand for, W equals wall. They decided all that. We didn't really. I'm sorry, what was that? That was a key, yes. You asked what the K was, yes, that's a key. I actually had to ask that because there's a couple meetings that they had that I wasn't involved in. Okay, so you asked about the text-based games. Yes, I remember playing those. No, I've never really thought about that, but that's a good idea. I think that we might, you know, I'll keep that in mind for future projects, because I think that my oldest too would enjoy that. And my son loves to read, so he may not like to write. He likes to write math problems, but that's how we've gotten him to write. So that may be something that we look into. Thank you very much for that.
and I think with this one we chose it because they had been exposed to Angman and they did enjoy it, so we already had something we know that they enjoyed, so it was easier to guide them that way.
And Angband seems so, it's simple to play, really. So, there's not much to it. Any other questions? Your question was, why did we choose Python and did they learn it easily? We chose Python because my husband is into Python. He's been into Python for several years. We actually, like I said, we worked on a project together for our work, with Python, solely with Python. And they really haven't learned, we haven't really gotten a whole bunch of them into the whole Python, the actual meat and potatoes of the code. I foresee them getting into it in the future, especially our youngest daughter, if we can keep her interest and keep her focused on learning that. Our son, who knows, he's 5, so one day he could be, doing other things. I mean, he's doing math now, but he likes games and he's always on, watching his dad code. So who knows? He's going to be working on a future project with him that has to deal with the math. So he's going to have to be doing some more, I guess, pseudocode, I don't know, coding. So we'll see how that goes. I hope that they'll get into it. So. Any other questions? Yes.
On the data structures that you use to create the level, is that like a text file you're reading it? You got like how you coding all that information?
Reading it as the ASCII characters.
Okay.
Any other questions? Yes. Pardon me? I'm sorry.
Oh, no.
No.
Nope, it was just basically mock-up screens.
Who's the idea one that makes the game?
We've talked about different times, but Pi Ohio was coming up, and we just talked about we enjoyed last year when I worked on the other game, and that we wanted to bring them in on a project. It just timing-wise just worked out.
I think he wanted to do it more than anything. He just loves the code, so. Once he initiated that, everybody's like, ooh. Especially when we decided who gets to do what. They were just really excited. So. Any other questions? All right, thank you very much.